Hello, this is Dr. Salvatore Vinciguerra, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you about eighth rests. To review, these are eighth notes, and you notice that an eighth note can have a stem either going down or up. And my students question a lot of their notes as beginning students. Can your stems go up or down, and can it be the same kind of note? Yes, it can. Or, is it, the same pitch note? Well, in this case, it's a different pitch note because in order for this stem to go down, it has to be on the third line or above. And in order for this stem to go up, it has to be on the second space or below the third line. So again, to review, an eighth note receives half of a beat. And so if an eighth note receives half of a beat, an eighth rest, which looks like the number 7, it also receives half a beat of silence. So here are the typical ways that you're going to see an eighth rest used in music. This first measure is in 4/4 time. There are 4 beats in each measure. And you notice that I have a group of 2 eighth notes here. So I'll give it 1 and, followed by a lonely eighth note. So I'll give it half a beat of 2. Then I have an eighth rest. It gets the other half of the beat, so I give it the and an R. Then I have 2 eighth notes grouped together, so I'll give it 3 and then I'll end this measure with an eighth note, 4, and completing the rest of the beat with this eighth rest, it gets an R. This is what this measure would sound like: 1 and 2, 3 and 4. In this measure, we have the eighth note on the beat, as you see 1, 2, 3, 4, while the eighth rest is on the off beat. And, it makes this note at the beginning shorter. So 1, the rest gets an R, the note gets 2, the rest gets an R, 3, an R, 4, an R. And this is what this example would sound like: 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's another example, and this is very tricky for my beginning students because they want to play on this first beat, and they have to think about what is this notation right here. And the eighth rest is on the beginning of this beat, so they have to rest for the first half of 1, so I put a 1 and an R. Then the second half of the beat gets an and, then 2 and, rest on the first part of 3, playing on the second part of 3, and then 4 and. So this is what this example would sound like: 1, 2, ready, go, and 2 and 4 and. This is like the other example in that the eighth rest is at the beginning of each of these beats. And always think about tapping your foot when you're doing eighth notes. Where does your foot go on the beat, and then where does it go on the off beat? Or tap your toe. And when you tap your foot, the downbeat, when people talk about the downbeat, it's on 1, 2, 3, 4. So your foot or your toe goes down on the numbers, and then your toe should go up on the ands, which are on the other half of the beat. So we're starting off with 1 R, and then the eighth notes get an as they go through this measure. This is what this example sounds like: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you notice when I said the number, it's silent, and then when I said and, there is sound. In this example, I have 2 eighth notes, and I'm starting off the beat with 1. This is the other half of the beat. It gets an. The eighth rest gets 2 with an R because it's silent. The other half of the beat gets an. Then I have a grouping of 2 eighth notes, so I beam them. This is 3 and. This eighth rest gets 4 with an R, followed by an. This is what this example would sound like. 1 and 3 and. This is an example of our eighth notes in action, and you notice that here you can see that there's a quarter note at the bottom, and that it is equal to these two eighth notes. And again, each eighth note gets half of a beat. And then in the other part of the measure, there's a quarter rest. And you see the division. They place the eighth rest in front of this eighth note, so that gets half of a beat, and the other eighth note gets half of a beat. So when you count this, the first bing gets 1, the second gets an, this eighth rest would get 2 with an R, and this last one would get an, and so forth as you go throughout this piece of music. This is what this piece of music would sound like. And so on. This is Dr. Salvatore Vinciguerra. Thank you for watching this video on eighth rests. Please watch out for more videos in this series of learning to read and write music. If you like this video, please like it, subscribe to this channel, and have a great day. Thank you.